Hello and welcome to the Escape Podcast, your source for all good things universe and movies. I'm Josh.
And I'm Dave. Join us as we explore the vast reaches of science fiction, fantasy, action-adventure, and beyond.
How you doing, Dave?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Not bad. Good to see you again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yes.
So today is episode 4.
Episode 4, the podcast of doom.
Yes. Jurassic World from 2015.
Yes. That is the movie we are doing.
That is. But before that...
you are correct, sir.
Yes. Dave was going to talk to us a little bit about some movies he's seen.
Yeah, I've seen a few newer movies recently. Newest, of course, being Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange.
I enjoyed it very much.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much like The Matrix, but with a comic book twist and with humor.
Okay.
Throughout.
I wouldn't.
Way more than The Matrix had.
Really? I wasn't expecting it to be humorous.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of humor. There's more humor than I was expecting, but it's not too much. It fits with the story. It's just right. And it really has that Matrix type of feel, but like I said, it's like a comic book version of a Matrix-esque story.
See, you know, I'm kind of burnt out on all the Marvel movies. It's not that they do bad movies.
Right.
I just think they're doing too many of them. I haven't seen Ant-Man. Yeah. I haven't seen Captain America 2, or 3, whichever it is, but I do think that one looks good.
You're talking about Civil War.
Civil War. I haven't seen it, but I think it looks good, and I intend to see it at some point, but
yeah.
I
highly recommend it.
I don't know. I'm just so burnt out. They do so many. I think I almost feel like they need to kind of stop for maybe a year or two.
Yeah.
And give me a chance to miss these characters and these stories, because I'm just...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get what you're saying, and my wife, even, she has said the same thing to me. She said something along the lines of, there's too many of them, and they're starting to lose their specialness.
I think so, yeah. I think, well, exactly, because, like, when Iron Man came out, I really didn't know very much about that character, but I liked it a lot, and I liked Iron Man 2, and I know a lot of people don't. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. I loved Iron Man 2.
Yeah, Captain America was good. Thor was okay. And
Thor 2 was better than Thor 1, I think.
Then there was also the Incredible Hulk. And then it was really cool when you got to see them all together in Avengers. But like now, I do feel like that specialness has kind of worn off. And again, I'll eventually see them, but
yeah,
I'm just kind of burnt out.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about me, because I've heard lots of people say that, but I think there must just be something wrong with me.
No, it's fine.
Because I completely disagree. I feel like they could have, like, they could have 3 Marvel movies a year, and I'd still enjoy them just as much, and they wouldn't lose their specialness for me.
Guardians, I didn't care for that much, and I'm not really interested in the second one.
Well, now, with Guardians, I was, when I first saw that, I was like, meh, whatever. Mm-hmm. But I will say, see, I keep talking about my wife, but she's a huge fan. It's like
you can talk bad about her if you want. She'll probably never hear it.
She's probably the biggest fan of Guardians, like, in the world.
Yeah.
It's our favorite Marvel movie.
Okay.
And so we own it, and every time we watch it, I actually like it a little more each time. And so now I'm naturally excited for the second one, thanks to her. But there's humor in that movie, Marvel movie.
You back on Doctor Strange or
no, Guardians.
That's
another good
that one was a big more comedy, I think, than some of the others. Have you seen what do you think of, I know you haven't seen it, but have you seen the trailers or anything for Arrival?
Arrival.
That's the one I really want to see. It's
I'm out of the loop.
Okay, it's got Amy Adams, Forrest Whitaker, and Jeremy Renner. So Lois Lane, Hawkeye, and Forrest Whitaker, you know him,
dude
right?
From Rogue One.
Okay, sure. So basically, this is not spoiling anything, because one, I haven't seen it, and this is anything you would get from the trailer, but basically these alien spacecraft, they come to Earth, and there's, like, I think, certain ones all over different parts of the Earth, and basically at a certain time, they open up their ship to allow humans to go inside to communicate with them.
Okay.
The only problem is we can't communicate with them and they can't understand us.
Right.
So basically, Amy Adams' character in the movie is a linguist. So they kind of task her to try to decipher what they're saying. And I guess while all this is going on, like in all these different countries all over the world, like people, like regular people are just like kind of freaking out and rioting because they're thinking like, oh, you know, they're gonna kill us all and all this stuff. And it's got extremely good reviews. And when I first saw the trailer for it, like whenever a while back, way before they ever released it, I was really looking forward to that one. I haven't seen it yet, but that's the one I really want to get to the theater to see.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I did see the new Ghostbusters reboot recently.
Oh yeah.
As well.
How was that?
You know,
I haven't seen it.
The internet really kind of hit the nail on the head, I think, with how low of the expectations were for this movie. Like, everyone online from before the movie got released said it was just going to be terrible. And boy, in my opinion, boy, were they right.
Really?
I mean, it's just not, see, here's the thing. Now, we're talking about Jurassic World today, but also this movie, Jurassic World and the Ghostbusters reboot have two things in common.
Okay.
Two big things in common. Throwback.
Okay.
And I'm going to have to say that there are two types of throwback that you can do in a movie. There's the subtle kind and the not subtle kind.
Okay.
Subtle throwback for me is perfectly acceptable and enjoyable, and like a nice wink at, you know, it's like a nice way of winking at the audience from the other side of the camera. But, you know, not subtle throwback is what you get in the Ghostbusters reboot. Like, it's pretty much like whole entire lines from the original movie repeated word for word, like verbatim, word for word repeated by characters, and like a lot of the plot was I just really thought they would do something different, you know?
Yeah.
And
was it funny at least?
I didn't even find it funny.
Was it scary at all?
No. It was like this weird purgatory of like this movie that's just there.
Okay.
And like, okay, like if there weren't for a few real bad curse words, this movie would be a great kids movie.
Okay.
But that's the thing. It feels like a kids movie, i.e. not really enjoyable by an adult like myself.
Like it has a hard time figuring out which audience it wants to play to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like obviously there are lots of, I mean, it's a kids movie, but with some, you know, a couple of curse words and even an F-bomb.
Oh, really?
At one point. But it's such, like, I don't even know. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't understand this movie. It's
because it has cameos, right, from the original cast.
Yeah, the cameos,
but they're not themselves or something.
They're playing totally different characters.
That's weird to me that they would have them come back, but not at all be the characters they, you know.
Yeah, like Dan Aykroyd, he plays a cab driver.
Okay.
It's just a random, like, 5 second... he shows up for, like, 5 seconds.
Okay.
Bill Murray's cameo is a little... Because he shows up, I think, twice.
Okay, well, don't spoil it for me.
I
will eventually see it.
I'm not spoiling it. He shows up, like, twice.
Okay.
So his cameo gets a little more screen time.
Okay. I heard that Harold Ramis was a statue or a painting
There's,
or
like,
something.
a bust, a statue of him in, like, a room, and you see it for, like, a quick second.
Gotcha.
And then, of course... let's see what the guy that played Winston. I don't remember his name.
Hold on. Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson shows up, and I think he plays Leslie Jones' character's uncle.
Gotcha.
And so
did Sigourney Weaver?
Oh yeah, and Sigourney Weaver was in there too towards the end. But
I'm assuming Rick Moranis did not come back.
Not in it.
Okay.
No. Sigourney Weaver's cameo, I think, was kind of funny. It was kind of a Egon-esque type character.
Gotcha.
Except played by Sigourney Weaver. So it was not that great.
Okay.
And I don't even know. I seriously doubt that they'll ever make a sequel to this.
Yeah, I know.
It's just really bad. I don't know why they even...
I thought they said when they first released the trailer, it was the most hated like YouTube video or something at that point, which I didn't know anyone was really measuring that.
I wouldn't doubt it. It was just
okay.
Awful.
I mean, I'll still check it out eventually, but I'm not expecting anything much out of it.
Yeah, don't clear your day because you can probably get away with multitasking during the movie and not missing anything important.
Anything else?
Well, I did recently get Star Trek Beyond on Blu-ray. I got the special Best Buy Steelbox edition.
Okay. Is it just the fact that it's in a steel box, or is there more to it? Yeah,
it's a steel box Blu-ray, and it's got the Blu-ray and it's got the DVD. And
I like when they do that.
Yeah.
I like when you get both.
It's got some great special features. The movie is great. I feel like it's better than the last one and just as good as the first one of the new series.
Well, if it's just as good as the first one, that doesn't tell me much.
Well, no, I'm not going to tell you much because you haven't seen...
No. Because I didn't like the first one.
Oh, well, yeah. I'm just trying to do like a general non-spoiler.
I think I covered that in the motion picture
probably
episode.
Yeah, so this Star Trek Beyond movie, it was just so much better than the last one. I mean, the last one really ripped off of Wrath of Khan way too much, and this movie, Star Trek Beyond, is like its own thing. It's got its own original story. It has a really cool little throwbacks that are subtle. Like there's like this one scene where Scotty's talking about a ship that went missing, and he goes over a bunch of theories as to where the ship might have been, and people have theorized and there's been people have said this and people have said that, and he was like, and there's someone once said that it went missing because it got snatched out of space by a giant green space hand.
Oh, that was Who Mourns for what was his name? Who Mourns for
I didn't
okay, yeah, him. That was a original series episode.
Yeah, so he mentioned that, and he mentioned the big green space hand, and I was like,
Apollo, was it Apollo?
I don't remember, honestly.
Apollo?
I don't recall.
Oh.
But so it's one of the stronger of the series, and I think they're gonna keep on.
You think they're gonna do another one?
They're definitely making more. What else was I gonna say? Special features.
Okay. How were they?
Really good. Gag reel was phenomenally hilarious. Gag reels are like my go-to thing on special features. I love gag reels. I can't get enough.
Yeah,
they're hilarious.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
So there's this scene where Chris Pine, he's trying to get this one word, and it's the name of this alien race, right? And he can't get it. It's like the weirdest, like phlebominum or something like that, and he keeps tripping over it, and so it's like this, like 3 minutes of him saying it wrong, and then him like laughing about it, and everyone's like, take 90, 103, and it's like it's just like forever. It took him forever to get this. It's really funny. So it's really good. It's good stuff.
Have you heard of this show called Timeless?
Timeless. No, I have not.
I don't know. I mean, you may not like it, but we're both big Back to the Future fans. I know you especially like time travel related.
Back to the what?
Shut up. Back to the Future. You know what I said. You stupid jerk. I know you're really into Back to the Future and other time travel related.
I love time travel. It is my favorite thing.
Okay, so
it's my favorite.
So this is there's only 5 episodes right now.
That's why Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban is my favorite Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, I remember
because of the time
when
travel.
I saw that, I kind of like that aspect about it. Anyway, so this show is about where this research team, whatever, I don't know, they have this time machine, obviously, and the one, like the head scientist, is abducted by this group of guys, and they force him into the time machine, and they just whoosh, they're gone. And so basically it's a big thing about like, he could be going anywhere and altering history.
Right.
So basically what you find out is that they have a prototype time machine too. So there's 2 time machines.
Right.
And it's basically, the first one looks very like not like polished. It looks very rough.
Right.
Where the second one looks very like Apple-esque. It's very white and shiny and very
looks like the
sleek.
J.J. Abrams Enterprise bridge.
Yes. So basically, you kind of find out is the prototype one is kind of like the rescue ship. So basically, if they were to ever send a group of people back in time and there was some kind of issue,
right?
The computer of the first one, I don't know I can't remember if they have a special name for it, but the rough cut version, it has the ability to know when and where the real one went. So basically, they can always know, and basically
they can track the other one.
Yeah, so basically, like if you went back in time, you got stuck, you could send a distress call, and I could say, okay, I know exactly where and when he is, and go help you. So basically, they put together this team of a historian, a soldier, and then a guy that knows he's the only one that knows how to pilot this time machine, and they're going back every episode to find out what the bad guy essentially is doing and how he's altering history. But what I think is kind of cool about it is, I mean, you're kind of getting a little bit of a history lesson, but what's really cool is they're not like succeeding yet. They're actually failing at their missions. Like, they've yet to apprehend him in any way, shape, or form. So when they get back to the present, only they have knowledge of how history is, and they'll find out that everyone else, like, oh, you know, how did this event happen in history? Oh, well, this is what happened. Well, that's not what it was supposed to be. So basically, every time they come back to the present, something's different. And what's also pretty cool is how it's affected them personally, and just how they've explained that. I don't want to spoil it too much, but basically, like, how, like, the main girl, like, for instance, how it's altered her family line because of certain things that have happened in the past.
Now, do they remember, like, how
only
things
those
were?
three? Only those three.
Okay.
Which, I mean, they haven't quite explained if there's a reasoning behind why it hasn't altered their memories, but it's not really important. I mean, you got to have somebody know how it's supposed to be in order for, you know, the story to progress. Right. But it's actually a pretty cool show. I think it's not like the strongest show, but like I definitely see it has potential, and I think there really
was a show
starting
to
get.
Go on.
That's it. I think that eventually, I think they're going to get it even more polished, and I think it's worth watching.
What network is it on?
It's NBC.
NBC.
Channel 4.
Because I think there was a show on ABC like 10 years ago.
Okay.
That I used to watch. And it was only like for one season, then it got canceled. It was called Journeyman. And it was about it was like a quantum leap type of, there's this guy traveling through time, and like I remember one episode he paid, like, he was in 1995 and he paid this cab driver with a $5 bill that was from 2005. And the $5 bills had changed by then. So it was a pretty cool show. I liked it. But there's another show that you're from what you're describing about Timeless. There's another show that has a very similar synopsis. And it's called Legends of Tomorrow, which is on the CW.
I've heard it. Isn't that like a DC thing?
DC. It's so Arrow came in 2012, started, and then The Flash was the spinoff. And then now so Arrow was 2012, The Flash started in 2014, and then in 2015 was when Legends of Tomorrow started. Legends of Tomorrow takes a bunch of good guys from Arrow and Flash and a bunch of bad guys from, I think, Flash, and I think there's a bad guy or two from Arrow. They put them all together in this new show, and so it's like got the comic book thing, but it's also got time travel. And basically these people are all on a ship that flies through space and time. And there's always, every episode, they're in a new era. And like last week, they were a couple weeks ago. They were in like the 1700s in Japan, and so now I think this week they were in the Revolutionary War in North America, and there was some virus from the future that came back and infected a bunch of the Confederates, and so it was like Confederate zombies because they had symptoms that looked like zombies. So it was pretty cool. It's a great show. Time travel and comic books, you can't go wrong. I love it. But still, The Flash is my favorite of those CW shows myself. But anyway, I never miss an episode of any of them because I'm just a sold out fan. So I'm wearing my Flash t-shirt.
Yeah, Flash Gordon, right?
Oh my gosh, you are touching on something that I hate so much. I've met people who will tell me.
I know, that's why I said
They'll be like, hey, they'll see my T-shirt, it's the Flash, or they'll be like, hey, who's your favorite Justice League member? Batman, Superman, or Flash Gordon?
Yeah.
They'll be like, no.
Oh, Flash Gordon's
Flash
the
Gordon.
Best. He's the savior of the universe.
Is not the Flash, and the Flash is not the same. You're getting these two confused.
Flash. Oh. He's a miracle.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, they say that too.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Flash Gordon.
Well, we should cover that, because I happen to like that movie.
I think I watched it once when I was a kid with
my dad.
It's got
It's got Brian
dad,
Blessed in it.
And I was like,
Gordon's alive!
Even as a 10-year-old or whenever I saw it with my dad.
And Timothy Dalton's in it.
Yeah, I think I remember that. I must have been so underwhelmed that I just never wanted to see it again.
I like movies. I just watched Judge Dredd. I'm talking like the 1995 Sylvester Stallone Judge Dredd today.
Oh, is that the one where
Rob Schneider's in it too, Diane Lane.
And
Max Vaughn, who's
Sandra Bullock?
No, that's wait. Yeah, that's Demolition Man. That's
Man.
also got Wesley Snipes in it.
Yeah. Where salt is illegal.
Salt is illegal? I don't remember that part.
Or something like that.
I remember swearing causes like an alarm to go off, and the whole thing about they don't have toilet paper, they use the 3 seashells.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, to wipe their butts.
Wow.
All right.
Good times.
Last thing I want to talk about was Rogue One.
Oh, goodness. We're already like 20 minutes into this thing, and we haven't touched on Jurassic World yet.
I don't care.
Let's do it.
They can fast forward. I don't care. Have you seen the international trailer?
Yes, I have.
It doesn't show too much new, but I think there was a few quick shots that they added into it. It's all in all nothing new. But...
Well, I gotta say this though about the Rogue One trailer.
Yeah.
I think that the Rogue One trailer, the most recent one, is probably the greatest Star Wars trailer in the history of Star Wars trailers.
Wait, are you talking about the international or just the third trailer?
The most recent one. I don't know which one.
Is the one with the Japanese writing on it? That's what I'm talking about when I say the international trailer.
I didn't see that.
Okay. Carry on.
So I was like, if my excitement level was like a 10 being the most excited and a 1 being not, my excitement level was like at an 8 before. Okay. And I saw the most recent trailer, and it's like at an 11 now.
Do you think they should have kept the fact that Darth Vader is in the movie a secret?
No, I mean, there's no way.
Do you think that would have been a nice surprise?
No, not at all. I mean, because everyone expects him. If you're going to do a movie about the Death Star...
Well, I mean, not necessarily. I mean, because, okay, think about this. They didn't show the Emperor until The Empire Strikes Back, or Yoda, or Boba Fett, or Orlando. But apparently they were around doing things.
Right.
And even Jabba the Hutt, if you look at the way the movies should have stayed, or at least for the most part, Jabba shouldn't have been into the third movie. But
right, yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that one later. Yeah. Okay, so you ready to move into the main thing?
I'm ready.
Okay, so Jurassic World.
Get your Jurassic World hat on, because I'm ready.
All right.
To do it.
From 2015.
Yes.
So a little bit of trivia or production notes, whatever. There's a statue of John Hammond in the Visitor Center.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't notice it at first. I think the only time I saw it was when they were running the 4 characters, Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt, and the kids running back through or running away or whatever, like toward the endish of the movie. I think that's when I at least saw it. I guess early on there was a rumor that Chris Pratt was either going to be the kid that Grant scares, or he was going to be Tim, all grown up.
Yeah.
There was a rumor that he was going to be one of those 2 characters.
I'm assuming it turned out to be neither.
Yeah, no, because, well, I don't think they ever named the kid that he scares, but obviously his name's Owen, and the kid's, Chris Pratt's name is that going to pick up? Okay. Anyway. They don't really quite say it in the film, but I guess the Tron Source Rex that eventually is let out is the same Tron Source Rex from the first movie. and they say if you look at its neck, you can see the scars from the last battle it had toward the end of the first movie. It's supposed to be the exact same one they recaptured.
Interesting.
Yes. There's a reference to Ian Malcolm's water drop chaos theory stuff in the form of when the little like SWAT team goes out and the blood drops fall on his hand and one goes one way and one goes the other way. That was supposed to be a little...
See, now there's a great example of what I was talking about earlier. Subtle throwback versus not subtle throwback.
Harsh throwback.
That is subtle enough to be enjoyable and for, to get like a wink from the actor or actress, like whatever. Yeah, I get that. It's great. But if you're going to like, have a scene where there's like, like if Chris Pratt and Bryce Howard were in like a car together and he was doing the water drop.
Sure, yeah.
That would be not subtle and not good, in my opinion.
The Dilophosaurus footage that they use, which in this movie it's a hologram in the visitor center. Yeah. That actual shot of it is the same footage, I guess, from its attack on Dennis Nedry out in the rain. Remember when his Jeep goes off the road?
Oh, okay.
That apparently they just lifted that. Yeah,
enough.
They just lifted that up.
It was like, wow.
I guess the Jeep that the kids fix and drive is the exact same Jeep that John Hammond and the lawyer are driving in the first movie to at the beginning of the film to go see the Brachiosaurus. That is supposed to be the exact same Jeep. You can look in the mirror. There's like a tag that tells like all the Jeep numbers, and it's the exact same number.
Now I gotta say about that, I think that's the one scene about this movie that drives me crazy, from a left brain perspective of like thinking things through.
Talk about how they fixed it.
Yeah, well, because
they had no gasoline.
Well, not
There's
even that. Even if that wasn't an issue. Okay, so they jumpstart an old Jeep with a new battery. It just doesn't. I mean, it doesn't make sense because the battery was from that ATV. It's an ATV battery.
What ATV?
The one that they were driving around in.
Who? The kids?
The kids came up to that. Yeah, they took the battery off the ATV.
When were they driving? The last time they were in the gyrosphere.
No, but after smashed. They got out, they got in the ATV and they got.
I don't remember them getting in an ATV.
There was an ATV that they got the battery from.
But I don't remember them driving around an ATV.
Maybe I'm getting confused. All I know is there was an ATV, and they got the battery from the ATV, and then they put it in the Jeep. And I was like scratching my head thinking, how could you do that? It's probably not even the same type of battery that you would need. I don't know. But, yeah.
So, Steve Carell, do you remember the part where he goes into the front door and...
Steve Carell?
Yeah. That was a false fact. False fact. Oh,
what?
God, I'm just messing around. I don't know. I just thought it'd be stupid. Okay, Bryce Dallas Howard. She wears all white, and that's intentional because she is like the John Hammond character.
Just so our listeners don't wonder what's going on, we're on an old wooden ship right now, and we're hitting some waves.
Okay.
And it's causing some of the boards to creak.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Bryce Dallas Howard. She wears all white throughout the movie, and that was because she is basically the John Hammond of the park, and it was kind of a way to, kind of draw some parallels, I guess. So the big one is that this was originally, like way back before this actually happened the way it did, they were talking about a Jurassic Park 4 that was going to have this whole thing about human dinosaur hybrids, where all the dinosaurs were going to be upright walking like a man, and they were going to have more like human-like arms, and that they were even going to make huge like assault rifles for them, because they were basically trying to weaponize them, make soldiers. And there's even like, you can see concept art of what this was going to look like, but it's just ridiculous. And I guess there was like even like talk that they were going to put a dog, a certain thing of a dog in them, so they would have like this obedience factor to them,
or that they could sniff things out.
Maybe that too. But that is my trivia.
Yes.
Not that much, but there's a little bit for you.
Right.
So now let's talk about the film.
So the film itself is getting a sequel.
I feel like this should have been the last. I think they should have left it alone.
I just saw a thing online today where they said they're going to be filming soon or filming in March or something like that.
What do you think? Do you think this movie deserves another sequel? Or do you think...
Okay, so story plot-wise, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I'm just...
Well, that whole talk of basically...
so the sequel is happening, but I don't really know how they're going to do it.
Well,
I don't know what they're going to write about. I don't know what the story's going to be about.
Well, hold on.
But I get it. I get it that there's going to be a sequel. I understand that this Jurassic World was highly profitable, made a lot of money, was a huge hit, huge success.
Yeah.
Of course it's going to make a sequel. Of course. You don't not make a sequel to something as successful as Jurassic World.
They should. I know what they're going to try to do. Basically, do you remember before... Oh, crap. What's the guy's name? The guy from Law & Order? Okay. Anyway, before he gets his arm, like, chopped down on, basically, they're packing up all the information and, probably samples of, various embryos or blood samples, whatever, all that research. They're packing it up and leaving with it. So basically, they're, it's going to be about them trying to weaponize, I think, dinosaurs further, because he kept on talking about, like, what they could do with them, and all this kind of stuff. Remember, he even talked about Indominus. Can you imagine if it was, like, half the size? Like, basically, like, he talked about doing that with it. So it's going to be about weaponizing them, I think.
Yeah.
Military operations.
Interesting.
But I don't think they should.
That makes me nervous. That sounds like it might be a terrible movie. I
just don't think... I think they should have left it. I think they should have left it alone. I think this was, after all the time that had passed between the third movie, I think this was nice to finally have this movie, and now I think it's time to just be done. I think there's nothing else to say about it, or do with it, And I just think that's...
I get what you're saying. I get
it's
it.
It's not just beating a dead horse. It's beating a dead dinosaur. Because it's bigger than a horse. All right, George. All right.
Well, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Right.
But anyway, this movie, I liked it. I know a lot of people nitpicked about certain things. To me, it was just a fun movie.
Maybe they should call the sequel to this Dino Wars.
Sure.
Because it's going to be dinosaurs in wars.
Yes. They release it on the Sci-Fi Network. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like a sci-fi original. Sharknado
5.
Basically. But yeah, I liked this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I like I liked the throwbacks that they did.
Yeah.
With the to the original movie. There's even a few, like you see the Spinosaurus skeleton in the
oh right, from the third movie.
Yeah, I guess like the main street of the park.
Like I said earlier, throwback is great when it's subtle, and there's a lot of that in this movie. And I really don't even think that there was any, overkill, not subtle type of throwback that would bother me.
Let's see. You see Ian Malcolm's book.
You see its book, yeah.
But, John Hammond's statue.
Subtle.
What else is there?
Well,
the blood drop thing. Okay, good.
Yeah, so the egg scene with the dinosaur hatching out of the egg in the beginning of this movie is obviously throwback to the egg hatching scene in the first movie. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but like I said, it's just enough to make you think of the egg hatching scene in the first movie, as you see in the intro of this movie. And let's see, I really feel like it's really nice that they come back to the original island, which is something I had hoped they would have done in 2 and or 3, but they never went back to the original island in 2 or 3. And I was always hoping they would, so I've been hoping they would revisit the original island, and they finally did, so...
If they finally got... Okay, because this is the original island where the original visitor center and all that stuff was.
Yeah.
So obviously, let's think about this. Okay, how does this work? So they send a team in, because at that point the dinosaurs are just everywhere.
Right.
Okay. So somehow they had to like set up a fence to cut off the old part from the like, and then like,
I wish
find all the loose random dinosaurs that are just everywhere and like
touching on something that I
tranquilize them, recapture them, and get like and build around like how do you build like a cage for it while they could be running around anywhere, sneaking up behind the construction workers. How does that work?
I don't even know. That you're touching on something that I wish they would have addressed a little more in the movie.
Yeah.
Like, I wish they would have connected the dots a little bit more from where they were in the first movie on this island to where we got to on this island in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, how did we get from A to B to C?
Yeah.
Like, with what happened, all things considered.
I mean, just a little bit. I mean, I don't think they had to go, like, super in-depth about it, but, I mean, maybe a very brief, like, thing about, like, let's just say...
all they did was show the fact that the original island park area is quarantined.
Yeah.
They didn't go...
Like, why did they do that? Else. I wonder, why didn't they just make that part rebuild from there? You know, like, I wonder why they decided to totally... pick a different section of the island and build, but it doesn't matter. But I mean, even if like there just would have been a small scene where like they're walking the visitor center and there's like a video display showing or talking about like, oh, when we first came back, this is what we had to face while we rebuilt the park.
I suppose I mean you could have easily come up with a plot device of saying, hey, we had every branch of the military from multiple countries come in and in top of the line SWAT gear.
Would they be able to just pull military in for a private thing? I mean, they could hire people, but I don't think you just pull the military in.
No, I understand that. Well, I mean, in part 3, the military just showed up to save the day at the end of the movie. So, I mean, that's one of my many complaints about part 3. But anyway, I will say the dude wearing the shirt. From what's his name? The dude with the original park shirt.
Oh, his real name is Jake.
No, his character. What's his character's name?
I don't know. He's from New Girl. He plays Nick Miller. Television show, TV show. His name is Nick Miller in that show, but his real name is Jake Johnson. I want to say.
Okay, well, the original shirt guy is hilarious. He's so funny. He's kind of like a weird mix of Nedry and Malcolm.
Yeah.
Like he's...
Yeah, Jake Johnson. Lowry.
Okay. Yeah, he's kind of like a mix of those two characters.
Well, but he's not like Nedry in the fact that he's...
No, but he's like...
Sneaky, conniving,
He's the guy who works at the park, and he's kind of junky, and he's got toys, and he's kind of a nerd, and he's tech-savvy like Nedry, but he's, cynical like Jeff Goldblum's character, and he's, he's got the dinosaurs on his... He's got Ian Malcolm's book on his desk.
Okay, see, I didn't notice it there.
That's the one time
I noticed it on the monorail.
And you see it on the monorail, too.
Yeah, that's the time I saw it.
And, yeah.
Okay. It's a funny guy.
Yeah. The helicopter scene, also throwback. See, now that was a little bit too much throwback.
Which time in the helicopter?
The helicopter scene where they've got the long flight to the park, where the guy's flying it, and she's in there, and I don't remember these characters' names. They're all escaping me. But okay.
Claire.
Masrani. He's flying the helicopter, and he's talking about how, John Hammond entrusted him with the island and all that stuff, and he's flying the helicopter.
Okay.
Remember?
Yeah, now I do. Yeah.
And
well, I remember him flying the helicopter. I just wasn't.
Scene,
I don't remember there being a scene that was like a long extended.
Oh yeah, it was like this minute-long thing where they're they took off and they're flying.
You're saying this was too much?
And like it's like the same music, the same type of scenery, the same like in the hills looked it's the same in the background. Everything looked a lot like the original helicopter approach scene in the first movie. And I feel like that was maybe a little bit too much.
See, I didn't even
I was like,
pick up on that or notice it.
Like, okay, I'm watching a Jurassic Park movie with a 1.5-minute-esque long helicopter flight scene. It's, in both movies. It's in both movies, and they're both very similar, and I didn't really like that too
like
much.
you.
But, yeah.
Jerk.
Right. Yeah, you see Claire's assistant reading Ian Malcolm's book when they're on the monorail. And, hey, I want to jump to the raptor scene where they're in the raptor paddock.
Cage? Okay.
So that guy, he's up there.
Padlock?
I'm
just teasing. I'm messing around. Just ignore me. Just keep talking.
So the dude, he's up there, and I
think his name was Henry.
No, the dude that got thrown down.
Walter. Walter
the
Henry.
What?
Dude, again, just keep going. I'm just okay. Shut up.
So he falls into the pit.
Yeah.
And it's like clearly on the screen you can see it's like a fall that's like somewhere between 20 and 30 foot fall.
Okay. He should have had a parachute.
He probably could have benefited. He basically has no injuries. Wow. And I thought that was weird. He didn't even have a limp. He could have had a limp.
His adrenaline might have kicked in to help him.
I guess.
The fear of being eaten.
But, I mean, he would have broken multiple bones and would have been screaming and wailing in pain. But, I mean, would have had at least the wind knocked out of him. Yeah. And he just got up and he was like, oh no.
Yeah. Again, adrenaline, I guess. I mean.
And yeah, so.
I don't know. Yeah.
What else can I talk about?
Keep talking.
You got the scene with the Stegosauruses, and people are just like canoeing right by them, and that made me think of Part 2 in the Lost World when they had the Stegosaurus that was like trying to protect its baby and it was like smashing its tail into like by and near Sarah Harding, and they were like trying to get out of that situation, which was clearly so dangerous to be that close to the Stegosaurus.
Well,
and they just let people canoe right by them.
Yeah,
close.
A lot of
I don't know.
I noticed like in a lot of these movies, they always portray the herbivores as being, well, since they don't eat meat, I guess they're okay. But it's like, look at the real world. Like, you can't just walk up to an elephant or a rhinoceros or a bull or a hippopotamus and just expect it. Like crap. Even I've been down to the park and like geese are like, they hiss and they chase you. Vicious little mutants.
They do.
Yeah, like just because something doesn't eat meat doesn't mean it won't attack you.
Right.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
And I don't know why. Like even in the 2005 King Kong, they kind of, aside from the stampede of the dinosaurs, they kind of made it out like herbivores won't really, it's nothing to be afraid of,
Right, yeah, I mean, you can get stepped on by a brachiosaur and still be just as dead as if you had been eaten by a T-Rex.
Well, but I mean, not just that, but I mean, like...
And it would be a happy accident, or you could
certain animals, I mean, they'll still charge you,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I really liked the Jimmy Fallon cameo. I thought that was
fine.
Really fun.
Yeah, that was cool.
It made me laugh. But speaking of that scene, the gyrospheres.
What about them?
They make no sense to me.
That was Steven Spielberg's idea.
I bet. I don't know why I said
that. I don't know either.
No, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to me. Something like that, where you are taking a tour of a park.
Okay.
In something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like a personal vehicle of some kind.
Yeah.
It would so be on a track. It would so be guided by something. You would never just give guests free reign of a vehicle to go wherever the heck they want.
I think maybe, I mean, this is just speculation on something, but I think it would probably have something where you would think the base would have like a return switch where they could just flip a switch and all the gyrospheres will just
You'd think, but they didn't even do that because when they had to close the ride down, they all had to drive back themselves.
Yeah, I mean, but that's to advance the plot. If you could get the kids back, then there wouldn't,
You could have advanced the plot, though, without something like that. That is a
Yeah, but remember, because the kids had to encounter the Indominus, and if they wouldn't have got lost...
Right, but you could have had them encounter it. If they were on something that had a track, it could have still... I mean, it could have broke down or something, and they still would have encountered the Indominus. And it just... The only difference would be they wouldn't be in a vehicle that makes no sense.
I mean, well, we're already watching a movie about dinosaurs and dinosaurs that can change colors.
Right. I'm just talking about, if you're going to have a movie with dinosaurs, I feel like there should be some things that are based in reality and like a gyrosphere.
I don't believe in dinosaurs.
People.
I don't believe they ever existed.
What?
I think they're made up.
Yes.
Like leprechauns.
Yes. You are correct.
And the Tooth Fairy.
I think the Earth...
And Dentist.
I think the Earth is flat and the moon is made of cheese.
Yeah. Okay. Continue.
So yeah.
So it sounds like you got a lot of nitpicks here. Are these like nitpicks, or do you like the movie?
I love the movie.
Okay.
Why
don't you tell me something you like?
What?
Tell me something you like about it.
Let's see. The original park sequence is amazing.
When they're in the visitor center?
When they go to the original park, and they have like everything's untouched from like 20 years of decay and rot and
we'll see. You got the skeletons that were hanging from the ceiling. You got the glass mural of like dinosaurs that they walk by.
You got the raptor on the wall. Image that you saw when they were...
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You see the Jeep. You see the night vision goggles.
You see a piece of that banner.
Yeah, he uses it to make a torch.
Yeah,
that's what he uses to make a torch. He uses, I think, a rib bone or something of that skeleton that crashed down to as a handle.
Yeah, I think it said when dinosaurs ruled the earth.
Exactly what it said.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good place probably to have all the super big throwback.
Now in that area, so when Chris Pratt's character and Bryce Dallas Howard's character,
Claire and Owen,
they're trying to get the Jeep and they can't get it because the Indominus shows up. Here's more throwback that I found to be delightful.
Delightful.
They are chasing them through the old original visitors center, and the Indominus stops running to yell.
Okay.
He's running, he stops.
Yeah.
And he yells in the exact same spot where the T-Rex was yelling at the end of the movie.
Hey.
It sounded just like that.
Just like that, yeah.
You must be where they sourced that sound effect.
I got a call.
You must have called. They must be like, hey, we need an Indominus yell.
Okay. Okay.
Mixed with a cat purr.
Alright.
So yeah, I thought that was cool because it was in the same spot. You could see that there was like the same things around in the background and so that was nice. It was a delight. It was a delight.
It's delightful.
The only character to appear in this film who is from the original is, of course, Dr. Henry Wu.
Wow.
Dr. Henry Wu.
Dr. Henry Wu.
Dr. Henry Wu.
B.D. Wong, correct?
Played by B.D. Wong.
His character, I guess, in the original book was much bigger than what they did in the original movie. I guess that character's role was cut down quite a bit.
Is that so?
It is so.
Quite.
I don't know why, but...
Interesting. Yeah. I really wish Malcolm or Grant would have shown up.
Okay. Let's think about this. Let's think about this.
I know it doesn't make sense for them to.
Okay, but think about it.
But I just really wanted
them to. So in the first movie,
I'm a huge
they
fan.
almost were killed by dinosaurs.
Yep.
Okay, they survive. Second movie, Ian Malcolm is almost killed again by dinosaurs. He survives. Third movie, Dr. Grant is almost again killed and eaten by a dinosaur, but he survives. Why on earth would they ever go to a place where there are living dinosaurs again? It just wouldn't happen. I understand it would be cool, but it would make no sense in the context of the story.
Touche. I get it.
It's like having 7 of 9 be at Riker and Troy's wedding, which was something they tried to do.
What?
We'll talk about that when we get to Nemesis, but yeah.
What?
Yes, let's stay on point here.
Hold on a second. Whoa. Pump the brakes.
Wait, hold on.
Quick question.
Okay.
I don't want to get on it, but I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. The producers or somebody wanted to get 7 of 9, Jerry Ryan's character from Star Trek Voyager, to be at Troy and Riker's wedding in Star Trek Nemesis.
Okay.
Okay.
And why didn't she show up?
Because it wouldn't make any sense, but... Here, let's stay on topic. We'll talk about this when we're done. I want to stay on point.
No, I just want to know.
That's it.
I want to know why she didn't show up.
Because she said it wouldn't make sense because her character never met any of those characters. It wouldn't make any sense why she was there.
Okay.
That's it.
So it's just they don't know each other type thing. Okay.
Yeah, she said she knew it wouldn't make sense that her character, who never met or had any interaction with the next-gen people, to be there.
I see. Okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm satisfied now.
Okay.
Thank you for answering my question.
Okay.
So, yeah. One thing I don't understand about this movie.
Lay it on me.
Well, I guess there's a lot of things I don't understand. Here's another thing I understand.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't understand Dr. Henry's thought process when he tries to defend the creation of the Indominus Rex. Okay.
My thought...
He says it he gives the whole explanation.
Okay.
As if he doesn't remember what happened in the first movie at the first park.
My guess
all the things that happened in the sequels
would be it's almost like a like Frankenstein thing, where basically like people like that are so swept up in like having like almost like this infinite power or the ability to create something so amazing. They feel like almost like a god complex. They feel so power hungry. They don't care about.
So he got so wrapped up with.
I think it made him feel
whether or not he.
Go ahead, say it. If he could, he didn't stop to think if he should.
Exactly.
Yes. Before you know what you
Wanted
have,
you to finish
before
my
you even
sentence.
know what you had, you've patented it. You've slapped on a plastic lunch and you're selling. Well,
let's sell it.
Okay.
Yeah,
I needed some dishes on the table to make it clank.
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, I would assume it's just power hungry. It's just the for him to feel like.
Well, we see.
He's doing
unless
something.
At this point he's just turned into.
And money, of course, too.
Well, yeah.
Money.
Unless at this point he's just turned into a complete like villain-esque character who doesn't care for human lives. If that's the case, then I understand. He doesn't care about human lives. He just wants to, make a buck and see how powerful he can be with,
Yeah, that's what I would chalk it up to.
Yeah. So he's pretty much a villain.
Yeah. Basically.
So,
he's the mad scientist.
Here's some more throwback that
Lay it
I
on
thought
me.
was good.
Okay.
I enjoyed this. There was 2 kids.
Ding.
2 adults.
Ding.
Surrounded by raptors.
Ding.
Towards the end of the movie.
Ding.
Just like in the first movie.
Ding.
The raptors jump on the bigger dinosaur.
Ding.
While the humans run away.
Ding.
Just like in the first movie.
Ding. Does that deserve a ding? I don't know.
Leading to a dino fight.
Ding.
Which was so awesome.
Yeah.
T-Rex versus Indominus, and then the raptor and T-Rex team up. And then the big giant water dinosaur jumps out of the water, grabs him, and pulls him into the water.
I'm just going to call it the Leviathan.
I'm assuming
it's the Mesosaurus.
Yeah, something. Yeah, but the Fishosaurus.
The Rumposaurus Rex.
Gillosaurus.
He sets on things.
Finosaurus.
Okay.
Anyway, the water dinosaur takes it down for good. Yeah. I'm assuming for good. We never see a dead Indominus. I think that's interesting. We never see it. We never see it.
It's either it drowned, it died by drowning, or it died by being eaten alive.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Underwater, like it's dead either way.
A dead Indominus would have been a key thing for us to see. We never see it.
Well,
so I think they kind of left that open ended, like. Maybe
you think it got out?
Maybe like while they were underwater, maybe he bit that giant fish monster in a jugular vein or something, killing it instantly, and then he swam back out. I don't know.
I doubt it. I think he was already pretty beat up, and then he got him right by the neck. He had the Leviathan had the Indominus by the neck, so and I don't think I don't know if he could swim, so I don't know.
I don't know, but
your face.
I just think that's really something strange to me.
Yeah.
And normally when movies leave something like that open-ended on purpose, they'll do it that way. They'll not show a dead body. They'll have an off-screen death of a character.
I think that's where the
DNA whole audience assumes,
and all the research and stuff getting boxed up and shipped out. I think that's where that's going to come into play.
I've just always not been a fan of off-screen deaths, and
that's very Jason and Mike Myers type stuff. But I never thought that he.
It's like lived. What? Just assume the dinosaur got drowned and died, and assume it went to plan. What?
Like Austin Powers. I think like it's kind of like people aren't people like. Didn't you? Was that you that was telling me that some people are talking about? And this is a little off topic. Han Solo, maybe he survived.
Yeah, there's like banter on the internet about
they
theories,
killed him 3
theories.
times.
Yeah.
Okay, they stabbed him through with a lightsaber. He falls down his death, and then the whole planet got blown up.
Yep.
He's dead. They made sure to kill him 3 times.
There was some really funny things though. Like there was some funny posts being made from fans about like, oh yeah, when he after he fell, somehow he survived, and for the explosion, he found a refrigerator.
Anyway.
Throwback to Indiana Jones 4.
In doing my research, I found out that apparently
they
tried to offer Harrison Ford, I guess, a part in this. But
in what?
In Jurassic World. But apparently one of the reasons, I guess there was a few, but one of the reasons he declined was his experience on Crystal Skull. As one of his, like, I guess because, that movie did so terribly and was so hated that was one of his reasons for not wanting to do this. But that's what I've heard. I don't know how accurate that is, but
interesting.
But what's kind of funny about that is, I guess for the original movie, I guess this should have been trivia, but whatevs. Harrison Ford was one of the people in talks to do the Grant role.
Interesting.
Which I only can see it because of the whole fedora thing with Indiana Jones, but like,
right.
It's funny that Grant doesn't even wear that thing through the whole movie. I think once it after the Tyrannosaurus comes out of his cage and he gets knocked, he's never wearing it. But like most people, when they associate him wearing that hat. But I don't know. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just having some indigestion.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, all in all, I like the movie. I know some people did nitpick a lot. Like some of my friends, they said that the militarization of the dinosaurs, that kind of bothered them. I didn't. It didn't bother me. I didn't like love it or hate it. It was just whatevs. I mean,
yeah, it didn't bother me either. But if they make a whole militarized dinosaur, movie
I think they should
sequel,
stop.
Then we're just not even you're not even watching a Jurassic Park movie anymore. You're just watching a movie about. I mean, because you're not in a theme park. You're not in Jurassic World. I'm assuming it's closed down.
That would literally be Jurassic World because they would be off island.
Well, I mean, Jurassic World, the theme park,
them.
has closed down. I'm assuming Jurassic Park's not around anymore, obviously. So, what are you going to call the sequel? Can't call. What are you going to call it?
It is, as far as I understand, it is going to be called Jurassic World, but I was combining world with park. I said Wark. Jurassic World. Yeah, I think it will be called Jurassic World, but it might have like a subtitle, I'm guessing. But I feel like this was enough. This should have been the close of the series.
I agree. I mean, I don't agree that it should have been closed, but I agree that...
Oh, you think there should have been another one?
I agree that you could end it on this note.
But not that they should?
Not that they should.
So you want to see more movies?
I mean, yeah, I want to see more. I'm just afraid. So, in a nutshell, I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay.
Because I'm a fan and I like these movies, but I don't know what to expect and I'm nervous.
Wow.
But I want to like it. Whatever it is, I want to like it. Just like I went into watching Part 3 at the theater wanting to like it, but I just couldn't.
Yeah. You didn't have the power?
I couldn't.
Okay.
I couldn't muster the like.
Yeah. I don't know. Personally, I think behind the first movie, this is probably the best sequel. What do you think about that? Like,
yes, It's the best sequel.
Yeah. So I would. How do you rate the 2 and 3? Like how would you how would you list the best to worst movie of all of these movies?
Okay. Part 1's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So 1 is 1.
Yeah.
4 is 2.
Agreed.
2 is 3, and 3 is 4.
Okay, it's been a while since I watched 2 and 3, but the last time I remember, I actually think I liked 3 better than 2.
Really?
Yeah, and that might have just been because it had Grant in it over Ian Malcolm. I think I might have just to see that character again, might have made it better to me. Plus, I don't know, I always remember thinking that when the Tron Source is running around the city, I kind of felt like that's every dinosaur movie that's ever been. Godzilla, and just all these classic dinosaur movies, it always has a dinosaur or some giant monster running around destroying a city. I felt that it was just like, come on, we don't have to do that. I mean, it's even called The Lost World, which that movie was about a dinosaur.
It was like a 5-minute sequence.
I guess, but
I mean, I enjoyed part 2 a lot. Even as a kid, I found part 2. When I was a kid, I actually liked part 2 better than part 1.
Really?
But as I got older, I kind of changed my viewpoint there.
One more thing I wanted to mention about this.
What?
Not really.
Mention it.
Not this movie per se, but like I've heard a lot of people talk about the shaving cream can. And
yeah.
I hope they're going to talk about the shaving cream can, and I never understood this because if you go back and watch the first movie, they say that the coolant inside that can only has so many hours to keep viable embryos. Okay. So he loses it and it falls out and it gets covered in mud. So these people that are talking about like, oh, I hope they'll reference the shaving cream can, I don't know what they're thinking because one, the embryos wouldn't be alive after a day or two, and two, why would you need it? Because there's living dinosaurs on 2 separate islands. All you'd have to, I mean, not easy task, but if you wanted them bad enough, you had the resources, money, go capture these dinosaurs or go kill one and take a blood sample or something.
I actually came up with a working theory.
Lay it down.
For how you could turn the shaving cream can into a significant plot device.
Okay, let's hear it.
For development. So,
okay.
Imagine, if you will, the guy who gave Nedry that shaving can.
Dotson.
Imagine if Dotson, either himself or some other guy who was sent by Dotson, went to the island.
Okay.
In like a flashback scene back to the events of the first movie.
Okay.
Went and found Nedry, discovered he had been killed or whatever, and then somehow stumbled onto that shaving cream can and found it.
Okay.
While it was still good. Like that night or that next day or something. Imagine that, if you will.
Okay.
And brought it back to Dotson. What if Dotson or someone else associated with Dotson went
like his brother?
I don't know.
Maybe his friend or his cousin?
Went and started
his Uncle Paul?
Their own dino lab, if you will.
Yeah, I got you.
Like,
which is what I think they were essentially trying to do.
Like island.
Yeah, I think that's what it was competition.
Either another island or some other place. It doesn't have to be on an island. It can be somewhere,
like in a mountain.
In a mountain. I mean, anywhere.
A cave.
Anywhere in the world. And so there could be like this whole other dino lab.
Football field. Where
the embryos were saved in time and then turned into like this whole... I mean, you could go from there. You could have a whole movie based on this other...
Maybe a peninsula? I'm sorry. Maybe a treehouse?
You could have this whole other movie.
Yeah.
Based off of this can. If you could somehow write a story where the can was salvaged.
Yeah.
From that
I guess. I mean, but they didn't do it.
Right. Well, I mean, they didn't actually show anything.
Right. But what I'm getting at is I've heard people talk about wanting it to be referenced in this movie as if it still had any weight to it. Right. Yeah, it's toast. It's no good. It wouldn't have any
viability at this point.
And again, you wouldn't need it when there's living dinosaurs on 2 islands to get a blood sample from, or just tranquilize and take the whole dinosaur.
That's easier said than done.
Well, again, if these people are well funded to do what they were doing anyway, I'm sure they could possibly...
Well, I mean, if you could get those embryos, you could do something in secret with very little people knowing, as opposed to capturing a dinosaur, where that would involve multiple people having to be...
Right, but I'm saying once the Jurassic Park was shut down and the other island was also basically, they were just overrun by the dinosaurs. I mean, it would be, again, a risky venture, but if they wanted it bad enough, they could just go in there and capture certain dinosaurs, or like I said, kill them and get blood samples.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You wouldn't need them.
But I kind of really I've always been, I mean, I hate to toot my own horn, but I've always been a fan of my own theory, where someone went and found the can that night or the next day and brought it back to, Dotson, and then it was sent off to go, something else was made of it.
To Dotson's friend.
And then, maybe there was, a lab that was being run.
That's run by Dotson's brother-in-law.
Where, maybe there were experimentations going on where they were trying to mix maybe dinosaurs.
He was going to call them Dotson-saurs.
With other animals. Yeah. Or something, then you get a...
Well, they did that in the first one. They were mixed with frogs and crap.
No,
literally, frogs and poop.
I don't... What?
Because I said they were mixed with frogs and crap. Yeah. And then I said literally frogs and poop.
Yes.
They just
late.
They threw poop.
Things like that go past me, go over my head.
Threw frogs and poop in the...
Just tired.
in a blender with dinosaur blood, and that's all it's it.
And then, Austin Powers took a drink of it and said, "It's a bit nutty."
Yes. All right.
So, I mean, yeah.
So, you want to give it a letter grade? You want to do something new?
Jurassic World.
We give it letter grades?
I'm going to give it an A.
Okay.
I was going to say something more, but that's pretty much sums it up for me. A.
Yeah, I would say maybe an A minus. It's good. I like it. Like I said, I mean, there's some movies I can get very nitpicky about and really dive in and tear them apart about what doesn't make sense and whatever. But this isn't one of them to me. I just have fun with it. I enjoy it, and that's that for me. But so anyway, that I think will end this episode. But before we go, I'd like to remind anyone that might be listening, I don't know, if you made it this far, you can get in contact with us, suggestions, comments, criticisms, questions, whatever, at escapepodcast16@gmail.com.
That's escapepodcast16@gmail.com.
Yep, number 1, number 6.
Number 1?
Yes.
Number 6.
Yes, yes, that's us. And
so yeah, that's about it for me. And check us out on Facebook. You can find us by also searching for Escape Podcast 16, and you'll see there's more than one Escape Podcast.
Yeah.
So our Facebook page has the one where there's a picture of a bunch of escape pods from the scene of First Contact.
I'll start putting it in the show notes.
Okay.
My thought was Omega 13 for the podcast name. I wanted to call it Omega 13, which was that's a Galaxy Quest reference. That was the big secret weapon thing that nobody knew what it did in the movie.
Right.
Dave's suggestion was Escape Podcast, which is good. I like it. So yeah,
it's punny. It's got, a pun to it.
Anyway, well, thank you all.
Yes, thank you for listening to our podcast.
If anyone's listening, thank you for doing it.
Thus far, if you have listened to any prior podcasts, thank you for that as well.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. We're still trying to figure out the format. As I said, I think I said this before.
We're getting our traction with each podcast.
Yeah, we've actually we had more podcasts in the can, but we had so many audio and technical issues with 3 of them. We actually had to trash them.
Yes, so they are now B-sides.
Yeah,
which we cannot salvage. I've tried my best.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
And I consider myself a good audio engineer myself, and I just could not salvage these files. So they're just too far gone. So thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Good night.